Well, hello everyone. This is Jamie Silver with Herf Jones and Varsity Brands. I hope this finds you well today. Welcome to the March episode of the Yearbook podcast. On today's episode, we are going to cover 4 demonstrations, 3 of which are all about indexing, because that is a common theme this time of year. I'm sure you're working on it. I hope you are. If you have questions, do let me know. But I want to share a couple of videos here with you that will help get you started or keep you rolling on the index process. Now, in the January episode of the Yearbook podcast, I did talk more about how the index builder works, how it adds entries and finds names in the book. So please feel free to review that as well in the January episode. But today we're going to cover a few different topics on how the index builder works, how to edit it, and how to flow it on the pages. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. This first video I want to share with you is about editing the entries. So these are the items that the program thinks you want to have in the index, and then you have to tell it what you want to do with it and how you want to modify it. So I will be back in a couple minutes.
This video focuses on the first step in the index builder process, where you'll correct any errors and generate an accurate list of index entries. For detailed directions and tips on the other steps, check out the rest of the Index Builder videos. Launch Index Builder from the Book view by clicking the Edit menu and Build Index. Once the list of possible index entries has been created, you can start editing, correcting, and adding entries. Editing the index is a large task, ideally one you're working on throughout the year. With the Index Builder, you do not need to review the entire list of entries in one sitting. When you want to stop and come back later, just bookmark the entry where you stopped and click Close. All of your changes are saved and the Index Builder closes. When you're ready to continue editing, start the Index Builder again and scroll to your bookmarked listing. You'll edit the list of entries using these buttons along the left. Ignore. The most common edit you'll make when reviewing the index entries is ignoring those you don't want to include in the book. To exclude an entry from the final index pages, just click on an entry to select it and click Ignore. The name is then removed from the current view. To see ignored entries, use the Ignored Entries filter. While in this view, you can click an entry, then click Undo Ignore to make it appear in the index once again. Combine. To combine several duplicate entries, for example, several spellings of the same person's name, click the first entry, then press and hold the Shift key and click the last entry to select them all. Then click the Combine button. Choose how you'd like the entries to appear in the index and click OK. To uncombine entries, click the name, then click Undo Combine. This doesn't change how it appears on the page, just how it will appear in the index. Note, when you combine names, a blue dot displays in the Combined column. Hover over the name to see the names it was combined with. Fuse. Fuse is very helpful with organization names. For example, you may have an entry for Basketball Varsity Boys. Fuse switches the first and last name fields, then combines them into one entry. So, selecting this entry and clicking Fuse will give you Varsity Boys Basketball in the last name field. Similar to combined entries, there's a dot in the edited column for an entry that has been fused. To undo this, select the entry and then click Restore Original. Swap. Often a student has 3 or 4 components to their name, not just a simple first-last name configuration, and these names end up in the wrong field when you run Index Builder. This is easily corrected by moving a third name in the middle name position to the last name field. For example, Ramirez, Anna Gomez becomes Gomez Ramirez, Anna. If there are 4 names, Index Builder automatically swaps them. For example, Gomez Ramirez, Anna Julia. Edit. You can edit any field, including page number and usage count, and make the entry either all uppercase or title case. Note, you can change the case of multiple names at the same time. Shift-click to select a block of names, then click Edit. Choose the case you want, and click OK. Add. Use the Add button to manually add a name, its page numbers, and usage count. For example, you may have an entry that is one word not picked up by the Index Builder, such as band or choir. Restore Original. Undo the edits you've made to a name with the Restore Original button. Click on an edited entry, then click Restore Original. Note, edits to index entries are saved as you make them. For this reason, the only way to undo a change is from within the index editor, using the Undo or Restore Original buttons. Reviewed. Mark a name or group of names as reviewed. This is useful when you are rebuilding indexes. When you filter the non-reviewed entries, only new entries display in the list. You don't have to review the entire list every time you build an index. To mark an entry as reviewed, use the non-reviewed entries filter, select the names, then click Reviewed. Bookmarks. Perhaps you have some names you need to do some research on before making any changes. You can bookmark these names to make them easier to find later. Click on a name, then click on the bookmark icon. It marks the entry on the left. You can also bookmark a name to remind yourself where you left off in reviewing the index. Use the arrow keys on either side of the bookmark icon to jump back and forth among bookmarked entries. Or use the bookmarked entries filter. To get rid of a bookmark, just click on the name and click the bookmark icon again. For detailed directions and tips on each of the steps in editing and building your index, check out the rest of the Index Builder videos.
Well, I hope you found that helpful. As Adam said there, the index is one of those things where my yearbook rep, when I was in high school, told me to work on it early and often. And of course I didn't, but I'm going to share that advice with you because it would have been good for me to do so. As you can see, especially those bookmarks that Adam shared with you, the index is one of those things that you can work on throughout the school year. So I know it's March already, and even if you're getting started now, that's still good, but the sooner the better. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's really great. They really are great tools built in. So poke around at those, take a look at them. If you have questions, do let me, Sarah, tech support know. We're here to help you work through that process. The editing stage that you just saw is by far the most time-consuming stage of building the index. When we get to flow it, which we're going to see next, and reflowing as necessary after that, that part's easy. It's going through all the individual entries and combining, fusing, ignoring, all of those things that Adam just showed you. So again, any questions on that, do let me know. The next video is just that. It's flowing and generating and flowing the index. So this is that final step in theory, but as you'll see after this, we're going to also talk about reflowing the index. So I'll be right back.
This video focuses on the steps to placing your index entries onto pages in your book. For detailed directions and tips on the other steps, check out the rest of the Index Builder videos. After you have reviewed the index entries and made the appropriate changes, you are ready to flow the index. Index Builder makes it easy to determine the number of pages needed, adjust each column to accommodate candids or other artwork, and place the index contents onto pages in your book. Select the page in the book view where you'd like the index to begin. Then launch the Index Builder and click Next to move to Step 2, Index Setup. You can also select a starting page here, and then select how many columns you'd like and how much space to leave between the columns. Many books use 3 columns, but others use 4 or more. Click Next to move to Step 3, Text. This uses the character styles you've created in Book Setup. Choose a header character style from the drop-down list, and the preview to the right displays each style as you select it. If you need to create a header or body character style, click the green plus sign to jump right to the character styles section of the book setup. Then click Add and set up the style as needed. Select a header alignment from the drop-down list. Click Next when you are done. Index Builder determines if you have enough pages available for your index and displays a message if there is a problem. If you don't have enough remaining available pages, you may need to use a smaller font or change the starting page of your index. Here, you can click through the preview page by page and adjust the columns on each page. You can size the columns to leave room for candids or other artwork, split a column into separate rows, or skip a column altogether. To adjust the height of a column, click one of the handles and drag it either up or down. To split a column into multiple rows, change the number in the rows dialog box at the bottom of the row. You can also split a column just by double-clicking it. To skip a column, leaving a column of white space, enter a 0 in the rows dialog box. Then click Next to move to Step 5, Flow. You'll see a summary of the number of entries, starting page, and number of pages. Click Flow Index, and Index Builder flows your entries onto the pages. For detailed directions and tips on each of the steps editing and building your index, check out the rest of the Index Builder videos.
So again, that's flowing of the index. That's one of the easiest steps. But the question I often get after that is, oops, we found a mistake, or we need to just play with the layout of the index or whatnot. So this next video I want to share with you is about reflowing and how simple that is. So I'm going to play that, and I will be right back.
This video focuses on the steps to reflowing your edited index entries onto pages. For detailed directions and tips on the other steps, check out the rest of the Index Builder videos. After flowing your index onto pages, you may edit these just like any others in the book, which comes in handy for small corrections. But the real power of the Index Builder is the ability to reflow all the index pages at once. Because Index Builder retains your edits, it's easy to reflow as content is added to your book. Each time you run Index Builder, it updates the information based on the current state of your book, but it remembers all of your decisions about what to ignore and combine. In addition, it remembers your edits and applies them to any new names found since the last time you generated an index. For example, I combined Principal Harris, Robert Harris, and Mr. Harris into one Robert Harris entry. I then added another photo of Mr. Harris and ran the index again. Index Builder automatically changes that new entry to Robert Harris. You don't have to remember to go back and find that new entry and manually change it. Note: if you have already generated and placed an index, be sure to delete that one before generating a new index. Otherwise, Index Builder tries to index the index, resulting in many very strange entries and more cleanup work for you. Once you're ready to reflow index pages, it's only a few steps. In the book view, be sure to first click Edit, Delete Index to delete the current index. Otherwise, when you launch the Index Builder, it's going to index the index, adding all of those names as entries, which we obviously don't want. Click Yes to verify you want to delete the existing index. Then launch the Index Builder and proceed through the setup, text, layout, and flow steps as before. For detailed directions and tips on each of the steps editing and building your index, check out the rest of the Index Builder videos.
So for those of you who have worked on portraits, for example, in eDesign, you'll notice some commonalities here, common traits, right? As Adam said there, it remembers all the settings you did, much like when you're flowing portraits. So if you need to reflow it, simply delete it. I love his warning on the screen. Make sure you delete the first one so it doesn't index the index, as Adam said. And then you do want to reflow it and make your one change, just like when you're flowing portraits, and it remembers all the little details that you had set up prior. So it's a really powerful tool, and reflow is very simple. Like I said, in summary, the one step of the indexing that you're going to spend most of your time with is that editing step. That's just where you're checking everything. But as you saw in the example there from Adam, you are setting up rules in a database. So like the principal example he shared, once you make that change once, you're setting up a rule and you're telling Index Builder to follow this on future entries, for that principal's name. So it's really great. It just kind of learns as you go. So that is the index in a nutshell. Again, I know it's March and you're certainly not done with the index, but I wanted to share these with you as I've talked with a lot of schools over the last few weeks, and this has become a very common question. I do urge you to start sooner than later, and just wanted to kind of walk you through the steps. But again, if you have any questions on indexing, of course, do let me, Sarah, and tech support know. As a team, we're here to help you with that as always. Now, that is all for indexing today. I have two more things to share with you. The next one is another demonstration, but this is on the topic of creating PDF proofs. So I'm going to share that with you here, and I will be right back.
You can generate PDF proofs of your pages at any stage in the production process. The PDF proofs can be reviewed on screen or printed out if you like. You can generate a PDF of a page from the ladder view in the book module or from within Page Design. In the ladder view, you select the page or the spread. If you want to select a spread, hold down the Control key on Windows or the Command key on Mac and click on both pages. Then go to the File menu and choose to generate a PDF. If you're logged in as a regular staff member or an editor, your only option will be to generate a low-resolution PDF. If you're logged in as an advisor, you can generate a high-res or a low-res PDF. The high-res PDF is going to have higher quality versions of the images in the PDF, but the higher-res version will also take longer to generate and longer to download, depending on the speed of your internet connection. If you're working inside Page Design, you can generate a PDF from the File menu. For this example, I'll choose Low-Res PDF. The steps that follow will differ depending on what operating system you're using, Windows or Macintosh, what browser you're using, and the default PDF viewer on your computer. In this example, I'm on a Mac with Safari as the browser and PDF set to open automatically in another browser tab. In some configurations, the PDF may just save to your Downloads folder and you'll need to open it from there. You can print the PDF, but be aware that the default setting for printing will be to scale down the page to fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. This is good in that you can get all the contents of the page on one sheet of paper, but it also means that the size of elements on your printout won't match the actual print size for the book. So just remember that the size of the printout probably doesn't match the actual size at which things will print in the book. If you need assistance with the technical aspects of working with PDFs on your system, you can call the technical support hotline at the number shown on screen.
Now, I know PDF proofing might not be the most exciting topic, but I want to share that video with Mark and share with you that the beauty of being online, unlike the old days, when I did Yearbook, it was one paper proof that we got, and that was it. We had to make changes and all that. You now have unlimited self-proofing here built in eDesign. So I encourage you guys to, take advantage of that anytime. Sometimes it's just nice, even though it's old-fashioned, is to print it out and look at it on paper, just like the old days. This lets you do that. Also, as Mark said, the high res versus the low res. The low res is great just for placement. It works fast. You can download it quickly. And I would encourage that throughout the school year, anytime you want to see what it looks like. The high res will show you a better representation of what it will actually look like when we print and bind your books. So keep that in mind. That finishes up the demos for today for March, but I did want to close with, for those of you who have been watching the last few episodes of the podcast, we've been closing with some videos from the BIU series that we've put out. So today is a really good inspirational leap of faith story that I want to share with you. And this one is about 8 minutes. This will be the end of the podcast for today. But as always, if you have any questions, please let me know. Myself, Sarah, tech support advisors, we are all here to help you as a team. So have a great day, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
I'm bringing some of the wisest, successful, most inspirational human beings on this planet into your classrooms for your benefit.
When everything was stacked against me, that's when I was at my best.
You never know when the days could stop counting. That's when you make them count.
You gotta shoot your shot.
We all have the ability.
I can do anything I put my mind to.
And they took a leap of faith. These are the answers, the blueprints. I'm providing them to you. I have this heart that bleeds for the youth of this country because we need to learn to lead. We need to elevate ourselves. That's how this world changes. It starts with you.
My name is Brent Kamlich, and I am the CEO, head dude, whatever you want to call me, of a company called Dude Be Nice.
The Dude Be Nice project celebrates the unappreciated, everyday heroes that surround us. They make these people feel appreciated through grand gestures of kindness, and share these stories through viral videos that touch millions of hearts.
My dad was a high school principal, and one of the things that he instilled in me early on was you're only as good as the people on your staff, from the custodian to the administrative staff to the teachers. He just instilled in me this just respect for people in general, and especially those that are working hard, even if they're in a job that may not be the most glamorous front and center job. Oftentimes those people aren't appreciated, so we wanted to create this thing where we throw these epic surprise parties and say thank you.
We're gonna make this the best day ever for a bunch of people that are part of the Mountie Nation.
We wanted to get kids involved in that so they can experience what it's like to do nice things for other people without any expectation of something in return. We started filming these stories, and that's evolved into this thing called the Dude Be Nice project.
Being close friends with Brent, he seems like a very outgoing, loving guy, but even he suffered from depression in college.
I was always up in front of people, always speaking, and that kind of life of the party wherever I was, right? And then that became very uncomfortable for me. All of a sudden, out of kind of nowhere, experiencing intense anxiety, and that leading to getting super depressed and losing a ton of weight, not being able to eat, not being able to sleep. It was challenging for my entire college.
Fortunately for Brent, he was surrounded by friends that he could lean on when times got tough.
I'll never forget actually like confiding in my best friend, and guys don't do that a lot, you know, it's all like everything's cool, you just kind of make fun of each other and that's like your relationship. And so it was my first time actually like confiding in a friend, being like, hey man, this is how I feel. And while he didn't fully understand it at the time, like he was supportive. And I'll never forget like kind of just feeling like, okay, someone kind of knows and he still loves me, and that was important. Friendship has always been really important to me. Like true relationships are built on transparency and vulnerability, like getting to actually know each other and being open about things. You can still be successful even dealing with that adversity.
After college, Brent started working for advertising and news stations. He quickly realized that all these mainstream media outlets were focused on spreading negativity, and he decided it was time to make a change.
I was making more money than I ever thought I'd make. I realized like, dude, that's not what I want to be about. I don't want to live to tell these sad, tragic stories. I got to do something that's more fulfilling. I started realizing what I like, what I'm good at. I love building brands. I love telling stories, just not the sad ones, and I love working with young people. Around August 2014, we were having our first baby. I quit my job, my wife quit her job, and I was like, all right, let's do this.
Brent wanted to do something different and spread positivity, so he started an apparel company called Dude Be Nice. The idea was simple: spread good vibes.
We kind of do a lot of the things that are like the antithesis of what you see that's really popular. So there's been shirts that are like, I hate you, we're really negative on there. So we're like, let's do something opposite of that and make that cool. So it's like, let's be friends, like why not? You don't always get it right. You know, sometimes there's things that like everyone loves that you don't really understand why, or things that people just don't buy. That's a challenge of having a business. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong, but hopefully you learn from kind of what works and what isn't working and make better decisions in the future.
Brent's an awesome dude. He really cares, and he took a leap of faith, and that's hard to do, to get out of a 9-to-5 or something you're truly not passionate about and create something of your own.
There have been many days and times where I've asked myself, do I want to keep doing this? Why am I doing this? We weren't making a lot of money, we weren't selling stuff.
We were working out of Brent's living room.
It's been challenging. It's just taken time. It's taken going to events all over the country, you know, carrying 10 boxes by myself and showing up and one by one telling people what this company is and selling them on this idea that we're trying to do good in the world.
At the beginning, it was a flop, but he had an idea to expand his message beyond clothing.
Dude, be nice.
When we first launched the Dude Be Nice project a couple years ago, we're like, I hope this goes viral, like millions of people are gonna love this. And it was like, wah wah, we had like a couple hundred people watch, and we're like, oh, maybe next time.
Brent pushed through the resistance and believed in his idea, and eventually it caught the attention it deserves.
This is going to be something we do to show that we are a positive community, that we do positive things.
And I think what these guys are just trying to tell you is that you're making a huge impact on this campus.
Sure enough, like over time, like we just kind of kept doing it, and it's caught on, and now that 200 and something views has turned into like 30 million plus, and you know, opportunities to work with CBS, big companies that want to infuse our stuff and our stories into what they're doing as well. So we did a Dude Be Nice project last weekend, and it's pretty rad that the newspaper showed up and it became like the front page, the story that we went and did this thing for these 3 awesome moms.
Today we are recognizing 3 people that probably have one of the most difficult jobs in the world, and their job is being mom.
It's just nice to create some good news out there when there's so much negative stuff. Significance doesn't have to be monumental. We all have the ability in terms of how we talk to people, how we include people, to make a huge difference.
Dude Be Nice has made an impact across the nation. It's enabled students and communities to share stories of love and positivity for those who mean the most to them. These stories show how meaningful it is to reach out and show somebody that you care.
To see other schools and organizations make Dude Be Nice a part of like their community, there's something really special about that. When you are constantly appreciative, the sky's the limit in terms of the joy that you can have and the joy that you can bring to other people.
Think about somebody in your community. It could be someone at your school, someone that works down the street, somebody you rely on. You personally can reach out and let them know, hey, I appreciate you.
Check out our Dude Be Nice project, share it with your friend, maybe create your own Dude Be Nice project with or without us, and make a big impact in your community by saying thanks to a person or a group on campus. Do it in a fun, creative, and meaningful way. Make your own gear. We're an apparel company, a fashion brand, but you can make it personalized for your community. Use Dude Be Nice as your platform to make a big splash and show others how much they matter to you, and I promise it's gonna make their life awesome, but your life more awesome as well.